The wrong button. The wrong button, dude. What's up, dudes? Alright, here we go. It's another day. We're just gonna copy this one. It's basically the same thing. Alright, so we're at part 13. 8/12, that's the date today. Starting at 4:57. It's late. Super off schedule because my back's fucked up and like I can't sleep right because my back. I'm all off schedule, man. It sucks. Alright, let's see. Get rid of that. Okay. So yesterday we finished refactor of Server Pi's client ID system. Reviewed that and we stopped at line 35. So yesterday was a little rough. Today, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see how it is. So let's go over here and see what we got going on. Extensions are good to go. So next is do immediately below to do task. Alright, so let's do that. So we have to do here below class, add the client1 unique client ID int and client2 unique client ID int as adders to this class. Ensure I add proper comments and ensure I add info to non-transferred adders for quick reference in the future. So let's copy this here, and that's going to be CL, so that's actually going to be the first one, right, alphabetically. And now it's going to be, the type is an integer, and then verified. Do we need to transfer that? No. Well, actually we do transfer that, but it's not like something that gets. It gets transferred at the beginning, except at beginning game. So now we can just copy this one. We need to add a comma here. Change the 1 to a 2 and then add a comma there. We're gonna move that back, dude. Alright, now let's create the actual attribute. So we're gonna copy it, we're gonna bring it down here, and we go right here. Yeah, that's where it should go. Hey, yo, so did you guys know Bob Lazar was not lying, dude? Bob Lazar was telling the truth. That's crazy. I went down the UFO rabbit hole last night because I couldn't sleep. So I went deep, dude. Well, not really. It's been the past few days, but Well, I did. I watched another documentary about this other dude. You know, some of the dudes you think they're full of shit, and then like, then you find out there's other guys that said the same thing that they said, and it's like, if it would have just been that one dude, you would have said, oh, he's full of shit. But because they had a bunch of other dudes say the same thing, then it's like, wait a second. And then he got like people that's with him, like, and they're like, yeah, we actually did this shit. We recovered UAPs, like, with the helicopter, and shaped like an egg. And then like there's another guy that said there was an egg-shaped UAP. It was like a completely different thing. It's just like, wait a second, hold up. All by itself, you might think one dude's full of shit, but then he gets corroborated by other people, and it's like, wait a second, hold up. Alright, let's check that audio, dog. Let's check that audio, dude. See what we got. Alright, there we go. That's good. I can hear myself. Ooh, shit, dude. Yo, my back's fucked up, dude. It's messed up, bro. Okay, back to it. No sleep's getting to me, man. Alright. Okay, so we took care of that. We created the comment. Let's go back up here. Let's get rid of that to do. Let's go to the next one. Ensure add info to non-transferred adders. We did that. Alright. Clean up this tuple since some of these no longer exist. We were already doing that. Didn't we look at all of them? We did. We looked at them all. We cleaned them up. Alright, let's go over here to things to do. See, we got some shit that's not off the list that we did. Continue to... Yeah, no, we actually cleared the list up. So, just keep going here. Review the necessity of all the adders. Okay, so the client ID, client token dictionary. Well, you know, let's go ahead and finish our line by line. And then we'll come back to that, right? That makes more sense. Because, like, we don't want to review something that we know is going to get deleted. Alright, so we have the try except here. This is in threaded client. And what is this section? Like, what is this for? What is this here? Try except connection refused. Unique client ID int is client 1. Unique client is client 2. Generates and sends header and message containing the secure hash client token with the reconnect port. Okay, so this is in the case of a disconnect, right? No. Oh no, okay, so this is if they just reconnected. So if they just reconnected is equal to false. Why do we generate? Oh, because we're sending them. Okay, right, so we're creating them the client token. We're sending them the data, the reconnect port, the game ID. And the unique client ID integer. Then we have the self.client ID client blah blah blah, right? Generate client token. So then we have self client ID client token dict at the unique client ID int equal to the client token. Then we encode it. Then we encode the header, or we create the header. And it gets encoded. Then we do con send all, and we send the header plus the token. Okay. Then we do review necessity logic of this section in light of changes to reconnect and initial send structure. What do we review necessity / logic of this section in light of changes to reconnect. Okay, so this is where we're at here. So this actually is if we just reconnected is false. So this is only run if it's being run for the first time. So only then do we send them the client token and stuff. Then this is the main while loop. But what about this part? So after we send them the client token, we then do this. We say while self-verified received is not equal to 2. Should always be 1 byte for client 1 and 2. Self-verified ID received plus equal to 1. So while verified ID received is not equal to 2, we say ready equals select.select con. Okay, then we say if ready 0, and technically this could just be that's readable and writable. We don't even need writable, so we can just leave that empty, and then we'll say ready is equal to that at index 0, or rather ready is that at index 0, right? Well, I mean, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing, really. And then we say if ready at 0 and num is equal to 0. If int of con receive 1 decode is equal to 1. Should always be 1 byte for client 1 and 2. Then we say self verified ID received plus equal 1. So this should actually be that they verified received their client token. And I mean, that's fine. I was gonna say, like, we could use the receive verification, but since this is the very first send, like, you don't really need to do that. Honestly though, what if they didn't, like, what if they didn't receive the token? Like, what if it got lost? Well, if it got lost, then it would I guess we should put this in a while loop, right? To where we have this preliminary assignment section, and then right here. And as far as the reconnect, client just reconnected, we said that all that's already been assigned. And we don't need to reassign it. Honestly, I don't know. Is that completely true? Like, is con... Would all of this be assigned? Because if we disconnect it and then we reconnect, I know we reassign, like, well, this is the server side. So this, yeah, this is different, right? If the client reconnected, then that means they need to reassign data, but this is the server side. So we don't need to rerun this on the server side. The only thing that we need that's new is the con and the con lock, right? Yeah, so this is good code. And I don't have my other I don't have my discount double check here. So let's go ahead and change that. So other game is equal to P2 game in the case of client 1 or 2 is equal to 1. Other con must be set later as it is currently none until... And we don't even use other con. We removed it, right? Wait, no, we do use other con. Other con must be set later. Like, I don't need that comment there. That's just, like, we don't... I mean, that's fine. It's okay. We can leave that. It's okay. I mean, it's just an informative note. It's okay. We'll leave it. Alright. So we say other con must be set later as it is currently none until client 2 connects. So the con must be set after client 2 connects. Saying all that extra sh. Saying all that extra sh. Else client 1 or client 2 n is equal to 2. Alright. Let me say alright, so con is equal to self con 2. Con lock is equal to self con 2 lock. Associate change attribute list equals C2 change attribute list. That's correct, dog. Alright, now we got change attribute list lock equals C2 change attribute list re-entrant lock. Bro's mad, dog. Bro, why are people so mad, dog? Why are people so mad, dude? Other game equals P1 game verified using setting for other player DC upon disconnect. Other con equals self con 1. Other con lock equals self con 1 lock. We already got discount double check on that, baby. So let's continue. Alright. What else? What else we need here? So we have try if client 1 or 2 int. Alright, then we create our token, we just reviewed that. And now this should be changed to verified ID received. Already select. Okay, and then if we receive it, I mean, this is fine, right? Let's read this. Starts at 0 plus equal 1 for each started client to verify is later reduced by 1 if a client DCs to ensure the section is run when they reconnect so the client doesn't get stuck in while client ID is equal to none. I remember this. But this is a long time ago, and I just wonder, do we need this still? Is later reduced by 1 if a client DCs to ensure this section is run when they reconnect so the client doesn't get stuck in while client ID is equal to none. Because so they would get, the client side would get stuck in this while loop if this section didn't exist. To ensure the section is run when they reconnect in client pi early on, early stage. So whenever they reconnect, this is supposed to be run. Is later reduced by 1 if a client DCs to ensure this section is run when they reconnect so the client doesn't. So currently this is not inside of the part that gets run on a reconnect. But from what I'm reading, we would want this to be rerun. So let me just note that real quick. According to comments, this should be rerun upon reconnect to ensure CS doesn't get stuck at while let's just copy that so we don't have to type it out. While client ID is equal to none. According to comment, this should be run upon reconnect to ensure CS doesn't get stuck while the client ID is equal to none. Unsure if this is still the case, as that is a very old comment. That is true. So let's open up client and see, right? That's what we need to do. And you know what? I think it's time to delete client old and client back. It's that time, dude. This was, man, we're not good. There's no way we could go back to it. Even if we wanted to, that was created so long ago. We're just gonna delete it straight up. I'm not even like gonna debate about it. It's out of here. Rest in peace. Okay. So what are we looking for? This while client ID is equal to none. I don't even think we use while client while. Well, I mean, I know we got while loops. Let's find the while loop. While true. While true. That's the outer while loop. Then we got the main while loop. We call it the main while loop. But that's fine. I mean, whatever. So the preliminary section that I was talking about was up here. Because it's supposed to be like right after this. And it's gonna block, right? Isn't it? Like it's gonna well, we have to receive it. Hold on, don't we have to? So is end receive like blocking? Like it's gonna wait, right? It waits until they send it. Because I don't want it to just blast through it, right? If it's not like it needs to wait. So let's see if we can find, what is it called? Network. No. We're just looking for end receive. So does socket receive block? Yeah, I think it does, unless you set the socket to timeout. Yeah, so socket operations are blocking unless you set it to have a timeout. Sockets are blocking unless set timeout. Yes, Python sockets are blocking unless you explicitly change their mode. When you create a socket in Python, it starts in blocking mode, meaning connect, accept, receive, send will wait until they either complete successfully or hit an error. If there's no data available, receive will block indefinitely until the data arrives. Okay. Right. So like there's literally no way for let's get that out of here. Well, I guess I'll leave it just in case we hit. I really want to get rid of all these extra comments, but I should not do that until like I'm sure I can remove it, right? So technically that's blocking. So it won't move on until it actually receives the client token. Like there's no way for it to, like it's not gonna move on until it gets that client token. It's not gonna happen. But that doesn't mean like this. The server side will move on, right? And it will enter into the main while loop. Filter receive shouldn't. This client receive data transfer section. I feel like receive should happen first, but I don't know if that's true. So we have if ready. I feel like this should be first. I don't even think we do this anymore on the client side. Like we don't even send back a receive verification for this. We don't. We just connect, we receive, and we do not send back a receive verification. I think honestly we should probably add in the code to run the receive verification every time we receive data, and that should just exist inside of n.receive to where there's no way around it. You know what I mean? Like it's always gonna happen. So let's, like, I feel like I want to add that. Yeah, client token equals n receive con. And we want to make it to where, like, every receive has an associated receive verification. And you could even say that we shouldn't move on until they've received that receive verification. You could really make that argument. That's a strong argument to be made. I just it's fine. Like it's not a big deal. Like it's really not. There's no reason to like hold everything up. That's just silly. It's really like unnecessary. That's just being like OCD or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna add that to things to do. We'll say add code in network.py so that receive n.receive includes code for receive verification. Sends. Instead of manually running receive verification sections, we should just include this in the n.receive function. This way it always happens and is always in one location. So yeah, it's cleaner, it's smarter, it's better, it's more efficient, it's just the right way to do it. So we're gonna add that in eventually, not right now though. Let's just change this to a to-do. guess we do it like this. Say to do below line 85 to eventually speed change. We'll say change so that is the main process. And this is going to be once final server IP address is determined, change code true. Oops, what'd I do? Alright. So we do bullet one final server IP address determine change code so that we become basic just main process. Con equals end.network connect function return time. Ah, shit. Okay. Whoa. Alright, we're in the wrong file now. Right, back over here. Alright, so yeah, this doesn't actually exist. We could also make it to where whenever we send data, it automatically includes it in the sent data storage dictionary. I think that's worthwhile too. Yeah, I mean that makes it simple and clean, you know? Then I can remove those sections that like do that from the main client and server blocks and just move them completely away and put them inside of end.receive and end.send. So it will reduce clutter. It's smarter. It will be in one location instead of like 5. It'll reduce confusion and it'll increase readability and all that in the main files. So let's do that. So let's change this. We're gonna copy it, paste that in there. Let's add code in every pie so that end.send includes code for sent data storage dict storage population. Instead of manually running these sections we should just include this in the end.send function. We'll say this way it always happens is in one place and reduces clutter in the main files. Plus it's just organizationally correct. It's just organization. It's just organization, dude. Yeah. Alright, so as it stands though, we would just, I mean, honestly, we would just treat this like any other send. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't special. There's no reason to wait. The while loop, I don't know. Technically, you could say, well, the reason we wouldn't want to begin, like, the main while loop was because there would be no point in starting the main while loop server side because the client side wouldn't be running alongside it because of it had a while loop that prevented it from doing that. But that while loop is gone. So now if we remove this while loop section, we'll send them the client token and then it's going to enter into the main while loop server side. The client token, the client side is going to receive it or not if it gets lost somehow. But either way, well, actually, okay. Wait. This ain't right, is it? Because client ID, how does it know whether it's client ID 1 or 2? If client ID, most services next. So this has got to be changed. Yeah. So this is wrong. Yup. This is wrong. This is bugged. Technically, not technically. Currently, it's all technical, dude, when you're coding. But currently, client ID here is the unique client ID. So we got to change that namespace. See, that's another namespace confusion thing. The name client ID makes you think, well, it's just a client ID. It's that simple, but it's not that simple. That's the unique client ID. We also need the 1 or 2 as well. Okay, so we got to add this to our to-do. Yup. So let's see. We got to go over here, and this is actually like, well, we'll put it in pressing issues, and we'll determine which one we need to use, which one we want to do first. We'll say client ID, modify code in client pi, so that client ID issue is solved. We'll just write it like that. And it's really a multifaceted thing. So we'll say the client ID on there during the token reception section at the beginning of the game is bugged. Currently, they treat that ID as 1 or 2, but it's actually the unique ID. Therefore, modify the client token function so that the namespace is changed from client ID, the namespace of the client ID arg, or param, changed from client ID to, or is changed to unique client ID, and then also need to add another param for client 1 or 2 int to the function as well. Also need to add code in client pi, which sends the client 1 or 2 ints along with the client token payload. Alright. So this is going to be its own thing. We're going to change this to say Yo, 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 yo. True. There we go. That took a while. I'm not gonna lie, that took a hot little minute right there. Fuck. Alright, guys. Okay, guys. I'm out of water. Not this one. So ultimately, this section is gone. It's not. We're not going to use this section anymore. Assigns other con equal to self con 2 because if we were to assign it early on from client, self con is still equal to none. So I don't know about this. If client 1 or 2n is equal to 1. Other con is equal to self dot con 2. Assigns other con equal to self con 2 because if we were to assign it earlier on from client 1's perspective, self con 2 is still equal to none. We can't assign other con until client 2 has been connected, which is verified at the point. So that's old as well. So other con does need to be assigned though. Yeah. So, quite certain this is vestigial, or this is old code and needs to be relocated. Yeah. So. What else here? So when should this be assigned? I think when we do con equals up above, like right here, we could just say other con right here because they're already connected, right? Yeah, they're already connected by the time they used to not be, but with the new system, they're already connected, like from the very beginning of the game. Like they're already, the game doesn't start until they are both connected. That is actually what triggers the game to start. So this, we can just move it up there, and that's cleaner anyway, and it gets rid of another line. So we can just get rid of that altogether. Cool. Got rid of an entire little section there. Very nice. Very nice. And then this, get rid of that note. So we got rid of a lot right there. That's great. So in this case, wait, con is equal to self con 1. So if con is con 1, then other con would be con 2. So this is right? Yeah. Great. 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 We did it. What do we need to do here? Yeah. Well, I would say we can highlight that because it's important. It's important. And I want to review these accepts. I don't know if that's actually all. Say below line. Review to ensure all error types included. All proper connection error types included. Yup. Well, this is not actually true, is it? That's not true. Wait a second, hold up. That's not right. That's old too. Okay, yeah. That's old as well, guys. Like this try except is basically, it's not what it used. It's vestigial. It's vestigial. We did an entire renovation on this witch, so you know we gotta go through here and you know we gotta make adjustments because we do need try except, but the way that this is, it ain't right, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see a reason to have I mean, we need try except, right? Like, do we really need try except? Well, it's good to have try except. In certain places, you need try except. You don't, like... I mean, it's good practice. Like, in a final state of the game, try except would really be for, like, if we had weird secondary bugs that are not really important, you don't want them to crash the game, you know? Like, it will try except and then just re-enter to that section through, like, a while loop or whatever, and it'll just, like, try it again or something. Honestly, though, that's kind of a touchy, like, that's debatable because really you don't want any bugs in your game, obviously. But like if it's like an animation bug, like if it doesn't really affect anything, you don't want it to like break the game. I mean, we're not in that state though. We want to be, but we're just not. So I do need to. How about this? We will just add it as a thing to do. In server, we're gonna reassess our try accepts. How about that? We'll add that as an issue. Okay, so it does need to happen. So we'll say modify code in server.py to refactor all try except locations since refactoring lots of them are mislocated. Is that even a word? Are mislocated, etc. So review all code sections to refactor existing ones and remove them in other places as deemed necessary. So we're going to review entire file. We'll just say entire file to ensure that, yeah, there we go. So we'll add that. That'll be its own task. And then, but currently this try except is just a little silly. There's really no, I mean, it's not silly, but it just shouldn't be shouldn't be in this location. Well, I guess what we could do is just for now, we'll have it be outside of at the same level as this try except. How about that? So we'll relocate this try. This is gonna get moved up. This except is gonna get moved up like that. Is that right? And then we're gonna go up here all the way to the tippity top, the tip top, and then we're gonna do try right here, try L, big L, a major L. Well, that sucks. Fuck. Alright, so this is gonna try. It's gonna do, just gonna go to false. It's gonna run this preliminary section if else. Then it's gonna run if client ID, 1 or 2 unique client ID in, okay. Then it's gonna do the client token thing. And then it's gonna hit an accept here. Review to ensure a proper type connects technically. Yeah, that's good. Alright. That's fine. Okay, that's better. I mean, that's honestly that's probably fine right there. So, what's next? Well, we cleaning it up here. It's looking good, dog. It's looking good, dog. It's looking real good. Alright, so we got that try right there. And that is in the, ooh, my back hurt like a witch, dude. Back hurt like a witch. This is accept catch all non-connection related errors. And that's going to be traceback function, PID, client to non-connection error, lost connection to client. Well, no, this should say something else. It should just say non-connection error. Or exception. The exception is not... Yeah, the exception is the error, technically, right? It's like the same thing. And I can change this to caps here to say connection error. This will say non-connection error. Exception. It don't matter. Error, exception. It's splitting hairs here. And we can just have that say lost connection or connection error. We don't need we don't need all that extra we don't need all that extra Just keep it simple, dude. Simple. And you know, that's really what I'm doing here is I'm simplifying this whole code. It was a mess, dude. God damn, it was a mess, bro. Whew. It ain't easy. Adding features, refactoring, adding features, refactoring, adding features, refactoring. That's the life. While true. Alright, so we finished that section. We got 3 minutes left. So let's come down here. So we have our to-do. That needs to be updated. Why is the blue... Oh, the orange is supposed to be to-do? I thought... Damn, I had it wrong this whole time, dude. I thought the blue was to do, like blue to do. But it's not, it's orange to do. Well, shit, that don't rhyme. That don't fucking rhyme, bro. What are we talking about here? Alright, let's do Control-Shift-P. No, is that right? Snippets? Yeah, let's configure our snippets. Shit! It's not a big deal. So to do, and this is going to be changed to actually say, what a dummy. What a dummy, dude. It literally is in the name. So it's to do dash the date, and then we'll change it to where it's below X, which is like below section or whatever. I'll say that. Alright, that's good. Fucking back hurting like a witch, though. So change that. Now, whenever we do to do, it does that. It's gonna be orange, and that stands out better. So that seems like that's a better color because it stands out, and you need the to-dos to stand out, like, because those are really important. That usually means until they get done, your project's basically going to be broken, usually. And the blue does not really stand out. It's more fitting for its, well, the question mark insinuates that it's like a question that you have. Like, does this do that? Does it do this? Why does this exist? But technically you could place that in as to do and say, figure out why this exists, or figure, you know, so. But nonetheless, all right, last minute here. So we made it to the start of the main while loop. The to do, it needs to be updated. That's correct. We can just, well, you know, the proper way here is to do it like this. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be we wanted to have the caution because that's really a universal it's a universal identifier. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I know it looks ugly, but it just helps whenever we do a project search. It lets us know what we were it highlights every location where we have like a caution comment in general. So this needs to be updated immensely. Alright, well that's it. So we're going to go ahead and stop right here. Oh, that was a pretty good session. Not gonna lie, dude. NGL, that was pretty good. So this is... So we'll say next. We always do that. What's our next thing to do? Continue line by line file review. Yeah. So we made it to 267, and we have, well, it's not so much as just beginning to end. I mean, we're getting there. We reviewed a lot more of this code than it looks like, but you know, we'll get there when we get there. It's scattered work. It's not linear. It's not that simple. So it doesn't seem like we only made it from 215 to 267, but that's not really accurate, is it? Anywho, let's go over here, close that out. I don't like other files being open that don't really need to be open. So let's devlog. Stop time is gonna be 6:06. So we did an hour and 9 minutes. So I'll give myself a little extra because I've been cutting myself short on my time. Like when I did like an hour and 12 minutes, and I say an hour instead of an hour and 15. So every now and then I gotta throw myself a little extra to make up for the time that I was inaccurate about. So we continue review of entire server pi, and that's pretty much all we did. And we stopped at line 267 in server pi. Yeah. Alright, so let's copy this. Let's review it. So we have game testing, debugging, review, part 13, and this is going to be... I was looking at the name. It should just say game debugging review. It shouldn't even say game testing. So you know what? I'll change it. All these where it says testing right here, we're just going to get rid of them real quick. Like this, because we didn't really do testing. We're just doing, you know, it's fine, dude. Whatever. Relax. It's okay. We're gonna leave it exactly how it is. Be an extra. So we have game testing, debugging, review, part 13. That's correct. 8:12:25. That's correct. 4:57:606. That's correct. 1 hour and a quarter. That's pretty much correct. Could he debug reviewing the game to test it? Correct. Specifically, we continue review of entire server by correct. Stop line 267 and server, correct. And then we stage committed push or change, correct. So now we got to make sure we're at the root of the project directory, which we are. Now we're going to get branch, make sure we're on the right branch, which we are. We're going to get add stage our changes, which we have. We're going to get commit -m double quotes paste in the devlog. We successfully did that. We deleted client backup and client old. That's fine. We inserted 67 lines of code, but we deleted 1076 because we deleted those 2 files. And then we're going to get push to push up the changes to the remote GitHub repository cloud. Now we can exit out of this. We can go over here, go enter into this file explorer projects. We're going to change the date of this to reflect today's date, which is the date of the local backup. Now we're going to enter into our current oops, I fucked up there. I'm an idiot. Let's try that again. Enter into the project, copy the new one, go into the backup, delete the old one, paste in the new one. Then when we enter into this one, we're just going to triple check the devlog to make sure it is indeed the new one, and that is today's date, so we know we did it correctly. So now we have a local backup on the hard drive as well as a backup on the cloud. So it's going to be it for today, and probably not going to do another session. I don't really feel like it. You know, I kind of don't. So yeah, I've been working on a class. I started working on my class again. It's REST APIs with Python, which is something I'm probably gonna end up using. Maybe not for this project as well. But it's a class that I bought on Udemy. I bought a few of them. I never finished it. You know, it's just something that I thought I should learn, and yeah, so I might work on that a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna work on the project today anymore. So we did make good progress. I'd say we probably got about 3 more sessions for server. To get through server, we got about 3 more sessions, and once we're done with that, well, you already know the drill. We're gonna do that test and all this, that, and the other, blah blah blah, and